Does. All right, Rex, thanks for the call. Que tengas un buen noche. The reason I'm speaking Spanish with him is he sent me an email, Dave, and from time to time I speak in different languages briefly on the show, and he wanted to know where did I learn so many different languages, and so I had addressed that. I told him, and so then he called in. I decided I had to do Spanish because he said he speaks Spanish. Y yo hablo español, pero no muy rápido. Okay, let's go back to the telephone. And caller, you are live on the Kevin Smith Show. Your first name and from where are you calling?
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Universe.
Calling from the universe. Okay.
Hi, Joe. Hi. How are you?
Slightly short and magnificent. How are you?
Joe, if you will, reach around there and turn the volume down on your radio. We can hear us coming back in delay.
I'm sorry about that. Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Do you remember me
Here
from
looking
Los
at my
Alamos?
favorite wolf. Pardon me?
Have you ever been out to Los Alamos?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, out there, Bigfoot.
Someone just came in my front door and my alarm systems are going off.
Okay, go ahead, Joe. We're waiting.
I just
Yes,
wanted
I
to
have
know...
been to Los Alamos.
Hi, Dave. How are you? Remember me? I'm Joe from Star Level 5, Los Alamos. Remember me? I wanted to ask you a couple questions tonight about Project Camelot. Duncan O'Finioan, prize scan incident, and all that stuff. And your connection to Pahrump, MK Ultra. Is MK Ultra for real, to your knowledge, or no?
I know it's true. I know with every fiber of my being it's true, just like Project Talent's true and Stargate's true, and a number of other things that you can't even begin to think about.
Well, I can begin to think about them. Well, Stargate is one of my projects, and I can begin to think about it. In fact, I may have been one of the first thinkers about that.
Stargates have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Well, maybe I have too.
That could be. That could well be.
I'd like to know about the base that you're talking about at St. Thomas. I own some property down there. Should I invest or dump? Just kidding. Just kidding. Tell me about what you know about
it. It was
the base.
interesting when Duncan and I were down there about 5 years ago, and we were walking around. We were down there on business to take care of some property, and people knew us, knew my name.
Hey, David, I'm being facetious, by the way. I like what you're doing. There are a lot of people in areas that you don't know about that support what you're doing, and I just, I'm being facetious here and just playing along a little bit. Unconventional friendship, so to speak. But go ahead, please, continue.
Anyways, when Duncan and I were down there, we ran across several people who knew us, and one person in particular said, "Dave, where have you been? I haven't seen you down there for 20 years." And Dunk, she said, "You've grown up. You're not that little kid anymore." And there's an island to the south of St. Thomas that absolutely fascinated Dunk and I. And we asked several of the locals about it, and they said, "You too should know about that." And neither Dunk and I can trigger a memory about that, outside of the fact that it is a non-military base having to do with intelligence.
Okay, Joe, I've got a question for you.
Wait a minute, Kevin.
Yes?
Could I ask a question?
Yep, but you have to go ahead. We can't...
Are those shepherds, or are those Melangeois? Belgian Melangeois? Just out of curiosity.
No,
Are they
purebred
Belgies
wolf.
or are they Shep?
That's a
wolves?
purebred wolf.
No kidding.
Yep.
You know what? I
He's
got a
my
buddy of
housemate.
mine lives.
Okay, Joe, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, my buddy is the wolf man up there in Alaska. He lives with the wolves. He's lived there for 30 years. Lives among the wolves.
Joe, can you hear me?
I have one who lives in my house.
Okay, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kevin.
I've got a question for you. You mentioned that Stargate is your baby, that you've been rocking it since the early days. What can you tell us about that?
Years, like David says.
Yeah, I understand. What can you tell us about Stargate?
Well, there's a project called Star Level 5. That's a special classification, special clearance. Very few people have it.
Okay.
Now, if you ever happen to come across a guy that, you're at a meeting or you go to a presentation and you see someone wearing what looks like a little rocket ship on their lapel pin, there's only 7 of them that I know of. I have one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch where I wear them because that's a message.
Okie dokie. All right. Joe, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Very interesting. All right. Now, Dave, you said that you have been to Los Alamos. Was that on a vacation and you went to Los Alamos, or have you been there doing some work?
I was there to witness some things having to do with lasers, masers, and a few other things.
And this is while you were in the Marines?
Yes, when I was on active duty.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the telephone number is 623-444-5889. Toll free, 888-223-4599. And if you're outside of the USA and you're outside of Canada, you can send me a flash message by going to my website. Scroll down, you'll see the link that says flash message. And I've got one here from Australia. This is from Bob in Australia, and he wants to know if you know anything about ASIO in Australia. He says they do similar things like the CIA, or do they do similar things like the CIA? Super soldiers and Stargates, any info would be helpful. I've tried to get into the ASIO website, but you can only go so far, and then your link is shut down. You know anything about the ASIO?
Don't know a thing about it.
All righty.
By the same token, I do know that Canada, I know that England has the equivalent of a Project Talent as do a number of other countries, so it seems logical that Australia would definitely have one.
Well, and at the time when Project Talent was in full swing, at least according to the public information about it, not only did the UK have it and Canada, Russia had a version of that going on, and it was thought that China had a version of that going on.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever confirmed that China was doing it, but there was some information that led people to believe that they were. Project Talent, and I want to underscore this, Project Talent was not Simon Cowell's America's Got Talent. It was not a talent search in that sense. Project Talent was going into the schools and doing tests that the tests lasted half a day. And what they were, well, the public side said they went into schools. They did it in other places too, though. And they were looking for people that had particular aptitudes. And then the reports that came out of that were used to talk about, or the reports talked about, things like intelligence / personality associations. And, that sounds a whole lot like using the information to do mind control, to do personality splitting. Maybe not, but that's what it sounds like. But what we have in the background is not just some educational survey.